Woohoo! And theoretically, we are now live. Theoretically.
And on time.
And on time. So, suck on that. Bird of Prey 5, suck on that. Uh, Matthew, suck on that. All you idiots that never go live on time. Because despite having all sorts of technical problems, we are actually live on time. And so, welcome to episode 2 of Pinky and the Brain, featuring myself and Deej, formerly known as DJ Odyssey. And so, where we just talk about what's going on in the nerdosphere, and anything and everything that's been going on. So, a couple of quick things that we kind of been shooting around as far as things that we've been wanting to talk about. And then the big one is, of course, Loki, because that's the big show that's going on right now. But I do, and I told you about it just like within the last hour, is they finally dropped a proper trailer for Foundation, the epic sci-fi Isaac Asimov story, which is my absolute favorite sci-fi novel, that Apple TV is attempting to turn into a series, and it looks phenomenal. I mean, it absolutely looks like it's going to be a work of art. But now, did you get a chance to look at the trailer that I sent you?
Yes, I did watch the trailer, and there was one thing that kind of caught my eye.
What's that?
The whole praise there about the guy watching the birth of himself.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of reminded me of a certain dictator that name increments go up.
Yeah, and I think that it's kind of like, well, the ultimate, the reason that Kuroga will always ultimately fail, I think, is part of what Asimov's premise here was. He just did it on a galactic scale, and so. But yeah, it's actually it's a really, if you've never read Foundation, particularly the original Foundation trilogy by Asimov, they're not an easy quick read, but man, they are deep and really really good. But it's, as far as looking at it, it looks beautiful. It looks like they're giving it a proper treatment. Only time will tell if it's going to play out in a cohesive story. That's what really, where people have said basically it's impossible to make into a movie or a series because it's just too epic of a story, because the story in the books takes place over the course of thousands of years. And so, can you translate that into a series and make it work? I don't know. And so, only time will really tell. The one cool thing about it, though, is that we finally have a date, and that is September 24th is when it's coming out. So if you have Apple TV, September 24th, my stepfather-in-law, Bill, actually gifted Apple TV to myself and my wife just so that we could watch it. So I do have Apple TV, but and only because of that. So I'm excited.
I actually have Apple TV too, and but unfortunately, I probably won't get to watch it at that point since I will be busy.
Well, you suck then.
I know.
And Multi Gunman loves Isaac Asimov's work. He's a good writer. Good is an understatement. He is a great writer. Asimov, I do not mind saying, is a great writer. And Arabic throws in a buck. Thank you so much, Arabic. I truly appreciate it. Multi Gunman asks, how's it going? Well, not too bad, all things considered, but thank you. But definitely, no, we are talking about Kuroga, not Turtistan here. We don't do cloning in Turtistan.
No, as far as I know, now I'm Bunnyland, so I'm kind of neutral, but I've never heard clones in Kyrgyzstan. I only heard of clones in Peru.
Yeah, we
and
all.
That's why there is a vertebrate 5.
Yes. We all know about the fates of Bird of Prey 4, 3, 2, and 1. And we also know that there were other series to come before the Bird o' Prey series that have tried to rule Kuroga, all of which have failed. So, and I know that there are, the people of Kuroga are anxiously anticipating Bird of Prey 6, codenamed Charlie, and his ascension to the throne. So that's,
Which is kind of creepy to think of Charlie as a clone because, well, he's a great kid father.
Yeah.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah, it is. It's kind of weird. Is it hard to hear, Deej? Let me take... Oh, you know what? Let me take a look at the settings here. Thank you for telling me because... Say something now, Deej.
Something.
All right. That should fix that. If it was hard to hear him a minute ago, that should fix it.
Sometimes I think Thomas just says that to mess with
No, I think it was on me. And yeah, Multi Gunman says Bird of Prey 4, 3, 2, and 1 all moved on to other worlds and conquered them. Yeah, that's a nice way of saying it. Sure. All right. So next item on the agenda, let's talk about Boba Fett's ship. Now, I'll be honest with you. I did not have any strong feelings about Boba Fett's ship. I never did. I thought it was a cool ship when I first saw it in Empire Strikes Back, and I thought it was cool when we saw it in Attack of the Clones, when we saw it was really capable of doing. But I never. And Orville Nation throws a couple of bucks saying D sounds low. He should sound better. By the time you sent that, it should sound better. But I never had a vested interest in the name. And so the fact that the Lego product is not going to actually proudly display the name Slave One on the box didn't bother me at all. And to the canon purists out there that say, well, it was mentioned in an episode of Clone Wars, and they've always said that it was, in books and stuff, that it was called Slave One, that it's wrong that they don't put it on the Lego box. I say it's a kid's toy, and you know what? There are parents that will say, we're not buying a product that says Slave on it. You're gonna, it's a marketing thing. And that's all it is.
Yeah, it's marketing. It's just kind of a shame that some have felt that they got to rant so much about it. I ranted just maybe 2 lines about it because it's always going to be Slave One to me.
Right.
And it doesn't really matter. But I was a kid when it first came out, so I know what it was because it was on the dang box. Didn't bother me what it was called because, well, I knew it was a computer reference anyway. Just like a slave drive in a computer.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I can see that in the modern context, since we've never seen the ship used in that in that respect, like I could see if it was meant as like a slave drive. Like if it was meant to be used as kind of a drone ship kind of thing, that's kind of a cool idea. We've never seen that in the storyline or anything. And people have tried to say that, well, the reason it's called that is also to just show how nasty and evil Boba Fett was. That he would name his ship something so horrible and evil. And quite frankly, I was like, I never really cared. I thought it was, okay, that's just the name of his ship, whatever.
Personally, I thought that was one of the ugliest ships ever. To me.
I thought it was a interesting design for a ship in that, because I liked, I'll tell you what I liked about it and what I thought was weird about it. It was weird in that it seemed odd to me that you would walk onto it vertically, but then the cockpit was facing upwards. That always seemed to break my brain. You know, when you looked at it, it's like, well, wait, are you supposed to climb up into the seat? And that never made sense to me. But it also seemed like it would have a massive amount of forward thrust, since it seemed like the entire back, the back of the ship is the biggest part of the ship. It would be like if the entire saucer of the Millennium Falcon was lined with engines. It would seem like that thing could accelerate like nobody's business. So it would, you know.
It also seemed like there'd be a hell of a lot of drag when flying it through a planetary atmosphere.
True, but I never thought of it that way because I figured it was a spaceship.
Got to land at some point.
Well, you know, fine.
It was like a giant elephant head flying through space.
It kind of looked like a shoehorn to me. Like, you ever see an old shoehorn, an old style shoehorn?
Well, yeah, I'm old enough. I remember them.
Yeah. And so, to me, I just... but the name was never an iconic one to me. It was like... It just never really mattered to me.
I did find out that might be a mistranslation, because earlier today, Yosef...
Oh, yeah, you heard us talking about that it's actually from his homeland.
Slav one.
Yeah, Slav one.
Slav one.
Yeah. So, yes, that was actually a misunderstanding, that it was actually the presidential ship of Yosef's homeland. So it's Slav one was actually the name. Much less intimidating name, of course, but, you know, and we've, you know, wouldn't it be, you know, that we should redub like all the dialogue of Boba Fett with Yosef's voice? That would be
kind of fun.
Oh, man. So, and honestly, I like, and since Darth Maul, since you mentioned Slave One versus Razor Crest, you take Razor Crest. I like Razor Crest better as well, but you know what? Both of them I like about both of them. They both seem like functional ships, and they seem like functional one-man ships. Like the Millennium Falcon is a cool ship, but it's too much ship for one guy to handle. Whereas the Razor Crest or Slave One is a ship that one guy could basically take care of and maintain.
I had to double check and look at a picture of Razor Crest. Yeah, I think I'd take Razor Crest too.
Yeah, but I like Razor Crest better as a ship overall. And Thomas wants to know, what's a better title for this, Pinky in the Brain or Grumpy Old Nerds? Wow, Thomas. Wow. That's just...
Hey, Thomas, do the world a favor and pull your bottom lip up over your head and swallow.
Ooh. There's a vote for Grumpy Old Nerds, I think. So, next on our agenda, now that we've settled once and for all that, hey, if you want to call it Slave One, Slav One, or Boba Fett's ship, all of that is fine, but don't get worked up over the Lego product, please. And Bird of Prey is going to bed. Good night, Bird. If you wake up tomorrow, we'll see you then. If not, we will all hail Bird of Prey 6. Wow, that was mean.
That was kind of dark.
Yeah.
I think that's vote number 2 for Grumpy Old Man.
Yeah. So, Picard trailer. I don't think we talked about it when last time. So the proper Picard trailer where we actually see Q, and we get a little bit of a hint of the story, only that it has something to do with time is broken.
Which could mean anything.
Right. So what are your thoughts on that?
I've heard all the ways to fix this, and it could possibly be in there because, you know, people are complaining, why is Q looking old? And I agree with what you said the other night, and most of us have said it. Just have a CGI Q at the beginning looking young. Let him snap his finger. to make Picard feel better
Right.
about the age difference.
Which is something Q
Okay.
would do just to poke fun at Picard anyway.
But as far as the trailer itself, you don't get much out of it.
Right.
So there's nothing that anybody should be complaining about right now, even though some channels, and I won't say who, are already on it.
What are people complaining about at this point? I haven't seen too much reaction to it.
Well, mostly the whole Q thing, and what are they going to do with the time, and they sit there and talk about Seven with no implants.
Mm-hmm.
It's just ridiculous stuff that they hardly showed anything, so there's nothing they should be complaining about, bitching about. Just wait until the damn show comes out.
We see it's funny because I know we talked a little bit in the chat before the show today, like about some of the complaints people have been saying about Black Widow, right? And same kind of thing, like people acting like it's the MCU just based on some of the little jokes and stuff we've seen in the Black Widow trailers. And
okay, the main character is a female.
Right.
Get over it, folks.
Yeah.
If you think it's all woman power and stuff, well, it's supposed to be. It's Black Widow.
And that's the thing. Like, I was thinking about it after you and I chatted. I was having my dinner before the show, and it's like I thought back to, you remember Avengers: Age of Ultron, and in that movie, Captain America is fighting Ultron on the roof of that semi, and while they're fighting, Ultron knocks Cap's shield off the truck and ends up in the middle of the street, and Black Widow's behind him on a motorcycle, and she scoops the shield up off the street, and she's like, do I always have to pick up after you boys? And it was just a stupid joke, right? But if that were made today, would these same people be screaming, oh, it's the MCU? You know, is that what we've come to? Is like any kind of joke, like if a female character cracks a joke, then it's got to be some kind of woke thing, because first of all, you're not, you know, and I get sick of saying this, you know, I swear I'm going to like get one of those little buttons on my thing so that Inigo Montoya pops up on the screen and goes, I do not think it means what you think it means, you know, because every time someone says woke, they don't understand what it means. You know, that's not what woke means, first of all, but you know, it's driving me batty now that every time a female cracks a joke, it's woke, but it's okay if a guy does it, apparently. And now it's just a double standard. You know, now it's just... So, my name is Inigo Montoya. Yeah, I'm done. And... yeah, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, it kind of goes along with the subject we're going to be talking about in a little while, too. It has got to the point to where people just want to seem to cry woke at anything a female does.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's plenty of legit movies out there that you could apply that term to, but some of the stuff lately, no, you can't. And especially if you're just going off of trailers,
mm-hmm.
or some idiot that works for some idiot newspaper that wants to try to claim something, or an idiot writer like the one for Loki that just because one line was dropped, she claimed that she changed Loki to being bi.
Yeah.
That's just stupid, because if she'd even known anything, she would have looked at the comics, and that whole thing with Loki applied anyway. It was just idiotic, and it's happening on both sides. They want to just claim their little things, just not enjoy something simply because it's decent, because it's good. They just want to fight.
Right, and it's it makes no sense that we can just have something that's just fun, like the what's the name of the trailer that they did for Black Widow? Don't make a scene, right? And in the trailer, you see Black Widow driving the truck, and she says, "Now don't make a scene." And then you see, I can never remember the guy's name, but the big dude from Stranger Things that's playing basically the Russian version of Captain America, and he's like fighting a bunch of people and breaking everything in the room, and she's like, "You made a scene, didn't you?" And it was a funny little moment, but they're trying to make it out like, oh, you see, they're saying men are bad. No, it's just a funny little moment. 10 years ago, you could have said that about any character. Where if you say, hey, let's, we'll go in there, we'll be subtle, and then you go in the room and you tear everything up. And then you say, I thought you were going to be subtle. Well, it was subtle for me, or something like that. But now it's like it's got to be something about, if it was a guy doing it, well, it's because men are bad. If it's a girl doing it, then it's female empowerment. And it's like, get over it, people. Get over it. And stop using the term woke. I swear, by this time next week, Deej, I am going to have a button on my screen so that I can hit the button for Inigo Montoya every time someone says woke incorrectly.
Well, you're going to be buzzing that a lot for Thomas.
I will. Thomas, you need to stop saying woke all the time. I love you, buddy, but stop saying woke. And you too, John DeMarco.
There's plenty of examples, like Michael Burnham, you can pull out. You don't have to throw it to every single female that's in a movie.
Well, the funny thing is that even they don't, okay, with these characters, the problem is that what woke was supposed to mean, and what woke has been kind of perverted into in the modern vernacular by basically, woke was originally meant, it was created primarily in the African American community as a term meaning to be aware of and basically the social injustices around you. To be woke was meant to be awake, to be to have your eyes open, to not basically turn a blind eye to bad things happening around you. And so that's all it meant. So it didn't, and so you didn't just ignore bad stuff. Then now it's woke means, I don't know, feminism inserted into movies. Woke means having people of color inserted into movies. Woke means gender swapping characters. This has nothing to do with being woke. What you could argue that being woke would be to be aware of when you're watching a movie like Gods of Egypt and you're painfully aware that Gerard Butler should not be playing an Egyptian god. That's if you haven't seen Gods of Egypt, I'm not making that up. Do you know who Gerard Butler is?
Well, I know who Gerard Butler is.
Yes. So Gerard Butler playing a god of Egypt in Gods of Egypt. And so it's, that kind of thing, you could say being aware of the fact that is wrong. That's what woke is. Woke isn't, casting Sonequa Martin Green as the lead in Star Trek. And so where all this became woke, I don't know. And it's, now it's just, every time we point the finger at everything going woke, 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 woke. And I'm tired of that word. I am so sick and tired of that word. And that's why I need the Inigo Montoya thing, because it's more than ever. I do not think that word means what you think it means.
Well, it's kind of like the reverse side of the coin with how ones on the other side claim everything is racist. Mm-hmm.
Well, all
Because
racist simply means that you believe that one group is inherently superior or inferior to another group based on their race. Period. That's what racist means.
yes, but racist is another term like woke that's thrown out there for just about everything,
Right.
and it's like they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And all they do are diminishing the words on either side.
And Cinnabon, don't even start that crap. Now, Cinnabon's saying put a W in the chat if you think the stream is woke. No, I hate you all. All right, so let's move on before I'm inundated with. Before I need to I'm gonna go. I'm gonna have to pull up the Princess Bride right now and find that clip. All right, so let's talk about Loki. So episode 3 and 4. We haven't talked about episode 3 because last week when we were supposed to be doing this show, I dissed you and
went on vacation.
I went on vacation where I decided to get some unnecessary gallbladder surgery. Oh,
And you didn't even save the package.
I didn't. I didn't. They didn't even give me the option. I mean,
They should have.
Yeah, I was like, can I? They didn't even say, hey, do you want to keep?
It's like I'm a starving YouTuber. This would be great for a stream. Let me have it.
So yeah, I apologize that I didn't get a chance to I came home last Wednesday. I was just there was no way for me to do it. But yeah, so last Wednesday, they cut me open and removed my gallbladder because they're just jerks. I'll tell you, you go to the hospital, you don't want to pay the bill, they take an organ. That's how they do it nowadays. So last week, do we have let's see, can we get a quick rundown of what happened last week? I don't know if you have the episode synopses.
No, but it was just basically Loki and Sylvie escape to a planet that's about ready to be crushed.
Right.
By another.
Now, here's the funny thing. I read a lot of speculation from people, and I love reading. This is LDG syndrome here. This is what I'm calling it now. And I love looking at it because I realize now every time you see these huge conspiracies about what's going on, they're always wrong. So which I love. It's hilarious because last week everybody was absolutely convinced that Loki had swiped the time stone. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't.
Oh yeah. Because if you look carefully in this, in last week when when that ship was all the stuff was exploding all around them when they were trying to get to the Ark to escape. Oh hey LD, good to see you. So there was this one part where this huge column was coming down crashing on them, and Loki said, I got this, and he holds up his hands, and then he brings his hands down like this, and the whole column stops and then reverses direction. And so they're like, oh, he's got the time stone. He just reversed time on that thing. He's got the time stone. That's how they're getting out of this. So everybody had to figure it out. He's got the time stone. And I saw this over and over all over the internet. Loki's got the time stone. I was like, watch. He doesn't have the time stone. And of course, no time stone. And I'm only making fun of you a little bit here, LD, because I know when people get too into their fan theories, it sometimes, I think it can hurt them. Because I'm not trying to imply that LDG is always wrong. He's not. He's a broken clock. He's right twice a day. But the problem is that if you get too invested in your fan theories to where you care about it too much, you want to be careful of that. It's fun to enjoy these shows, and it's fun to speculate about it, but don't get so invested in it that you're going to get angry if you're wrong. That's all I say. So I say this with a little bit of caution. When we start speculating about what's to come, if we're wrong, I will not be upset. That's my point.
Well, LDG learned his lesson from WandaVision.
Yeah.
He has not went crazy on this one.
So LD, I'm just picking on you a little bit. You know, I love you, bro, but I just want to make sure that I put that out there. I'm perfectly okay with if I'm wrong, completely wrong with my theory, because I do have a theory as to what's going on at the end of episode 4. All right, so at the end of episode 3, everybody thought he had a time stone. Clearly, he didn't, but they escaped. And then in episode...
Well, I had problems with episode 3, though.
What's that?
Do they really expect me to believe that if two planets are going to collide, there wouldn't have been more destruction going on at the time? Or that...
It did seem like the destruction was a little too localized.
I mean, there's this huge, giant chunk of the planet that looks like Mount Everest climbing down onto it, and it's in slow motion. I'm like, what? That alone should have wiped out the planet.
Well, I get what you're saying. I think that it was convenient, but honestly, at the same time, if it wasn't that, they would have just gone somewhere else. You know, because obviously it wouldn't have been a very exciting show if they went somewhere and they were realistic and they just died.
Well, I know that, but that was kind of insulting the intelligence of the average person.
No, I agree with you. I think that what they should have done was kept the destruction to where the planets were still weeks away from actually hitting each other, but there were just the occasional meteors hitting off in the distance. That's how they should have done it. Rather than to try, and unfortunately, it's the whole movie thing. You've got to have it so the planets are 10 seconds away from collision before they escape. That's unfortunately movie making 101 these days. Is you can't have it realistically where the planet is actually 6 months away when you get away. You have to have it so it's half a second away. Even though if the planet was half a second away, you'd already be dead. All right, so but aside from the fact that the destruction wasn't very realistic, did you have any other issues with it?
I didn't have many issues, but I didn't score it as high. I only gave it a 7.
Okay. I enjoyed the episode. I'm not really giving them numerical scores, but I did enjoy the episode. I would agree with you on the destruction, though. It didn't ruin the episode for me, but I just kind of wrote that off as Hollywoodism, more or less. All right, so then we go into episode 4, and this is where things get really interesting to me.
And strange.
Yes. So we get Loki convinces Mobius of the truth that they're all variants. We have the other Loki convinces the hunter. I can never remember her number, but the big lady. She convinces her of the truth. We of course find out that Ravana has been in on it all along. And then we find out that the Keepers of Time, completely fake all along. And then Loki and Mobius get pruned. Both of them get taken out.
And we also find out that Loki is falling for Sylvia.
Yes, which is kind of makes sense because who else would Loki fall in love with but himself as a female? And I mean, even Mobius, when Mobius kind of goes off on him a little bit for it, but it's absolutely 100% true. I mean, who else could Loki possibly fall for, genuinely fall in love with, but himself as a female? Because he is such a classic narcissist. I mean, it's like, think about it. Tony Stark, the only person that could possibly pull him away from Pepper Potts would be a female Tony Stark.
True.
Right. So, I would say that Loki falling in love with female Loki I think that's a match made in heaven right there, or more likely in hell. Hel, since we're talking Norse. But then we get the surprise mid-credits scene.
Yeah. I'm glad I checked through the end credits there before I shut things down and seen that there was a mid-credit scene that explained the ending of Loki.
All right, so we basically have Loki awaken, believing he's dead, that he's in hell, Hel, because, this is Norse, and he is confronted by what appears to be 3 variants of himself. And he says, "Am I dead?" And one of the variants says, "No, but you will be if you don't come with us."
3 or 4. I'm kind of thinking that maybe that lizard is a Loki too.
Oh, I didn't catch the lizard. I'd probably have to go back because I watched it just once and I was a little groggy, so I'd have to go back and rewatch it. So, in fact, I'll bring it up while we're talking about it.
I couldn't quite distinguish if it was just a pet of the young kid Loki or if it was actually another Loki as a lizard, because they had all these different looking Lokis standing there.
So we have... That was a very unexpected ending. Because, on a couple of levels. Like, one, I absolutely did not expect Loki to be pruned.
Well, I didn't expect that part of it either, but seeing some of the early releases and teasers and rumors and stuff, I knew there was going to be more than just the 2 Lokis.
See, I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't. I don't know what you saw, but I didn't see it.
Well, I just saw videos about how they talked about there was multiple Lokis in this series.
Okay.
And I'd been waiting to see how they were going to bring the other ones in. I had no clue that they were going to prune our Loki in episode 4.
Okay, yes, the lizard is definitely a Loki.
Yeah, I was thinking there was 4 there.
Yeah, and it actually looks like one of the Lokis is wielding Mjolnir.
Yep.
So let me see. I'll bring the picture up over. Yeah, we'll try to bring it up over you. Let me go to the other screen so we can kind of see it. Now I can't see anything. Where the heck is Streamlabs? Oh, yeah, I can't. It won't let me show you. Dang, that sucks. Let me see if I can do it this way. Let's try it another way here. Nope, it's not going to let me do a screen grab of it. Dang it. Disney Plus and their copyright prevention. But yeah, the kids... Okay, so what we have is an old man wearing what looks like a cosplay costume of Loki from the comics. We have a kid that's wearing what looks like an imitation of what female Loki was wearing. But the kid is holding a crocodile, which is wearing horns very reminiscent of Loki from the MCU. And then behind him is a black man who is holding Mjolnir.
So, yeah, they. Now, I'd like to see how they're going to say that Loki ended up there when he was supposedly pruned.
And they're in a city. It looks like they're in New York City. You can see the ruins of either Avengers Tower or Stark Tower behind them. So they're in New York, probably in 2012.
John DeMarco just put up a link.
Probably of an image of it.
Yeah, you can scroll down and you can see the image of the 4 in the ruined city.
The black Loki is called Boastful Loki in the credits. Well, there you go. But I don't know that he should be called Boastful Loki if he's wielding Mjolnir. He would not. He would be the least boastful of the Lokis. Since he would be the most worthy of the Lokis. Unless that particular variant or that version of Mjolnir is not enchanted.
If it's not enchanted, it really wouldn't be worth much, though.
Well, it would still be, Mjolnir would still be a very powerful weapon. It's just if it doesn't have Odin's enchantment that prevents you from wielding it, unless you are worthy.
But yeah, that does look like Stark Tower back there. And the mid-credit scene just makes me want to see episode 5 all the more.
Yeah, I'm very much interested in where they're going, because there's only 2 episodes left. And I'm very curious to see where they're going with this. I do think so. I will tell you, when she, as soon as she threw the weapon at the central time lizard thing, and his head fell off, and nothing really happened there, and then they picked up the head and saw it was a robot head. I immediately, the first thing that popped into my head was, okay, we're getting Kang. So that's what popped into my head, is that the big bad that's actually behind all this is Kang. That's where my head went.
Well, it would tie into what some are speculating. And Kang is supposed to show up in a future movie.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, John, the reason I think that's Mjolnir is that looks like Mjolnir from Thor, the first film, when Dr. Selvig looked up Thor in the books. And Thomas thinks it's Wanda. She's controlling them all. No, it's Manifesto. Didn't you know he's behind it all? No, I do think that Kang is somehow... he's trying to manipulate... Because remember, the whole thing was that the end of the timeline is classified, right? That the beginning of the timeline is classified. And if Kang is... Because we all know if Kang is ultimately from the distant future. So if he's just trying to manipulate the timeline, so he's an ultimate power. And so that's the whole point. He's not actually trying to kill variants. He's just trying to make sure that nothing happens that would cause him to not be in have total power in the future. And so he's just trying to manipulate the timeline, not preserve some kind of, ultimate goodness or anything like that. And so that would kind of make sense to me, and that could, and then defeating Kang, if Loki is able to stop Kang in this instance, what would happen to the timeline? It would splinter like crazy, and that could give way to the idea of if the multiverse starts going in all sorts of different directions at once, Doctor Strange needs to try and get things back into some kind of stable environment, and we get the multiverse of madness concept.
Well, we did find out also that everybody working for the organization are variants themselves.
Correct.
If they start to remember anything, they are automatically eliminated.
Mm-hmm.
And that the male and Loki and Sylvia falling for each other could completely destroy this whole timeline.
Right. And so that's because I think that whatever, if it is Kang, I think that he knows that Loki and Sylvie, or however you say your name, are powerful enough to take him on. Because keep in mind that while Kang is powerful, he's not omnipotent. It's just that the ability to manipulate time and everything is a very, very potent ability.
And of course, Richie's throwing us a Star Trek reference. Kang. He thinks it's Kor or Koloth.
No. You know what? Honestly, of the three, my money would be on Kang any day because he had the best voice of the three by far.
And of course, LDG still thinks it's the Time Lords.
Yeah, LD.
Wrong franchise.
Yeah.
Wrong franchise.
But yeah, I like the idea that it would be Kang. That would also kind of be one of those things that would be hinting towards the Fantastic Four, which is a good thing to me because I'm a huge Fantastic Four nut. Yeah, I definitely. It seems the next logical choice. As far as what could possibly be going on here, because we need someone that's capable of massive time manipulation.
But we're not going to find that out until near the end of episode 6.
You think so?
Even then. Yeah, I don't. They're not going to have it in episode 5. Episode 5 is probably going to spend most of the time with Loki and the 4 other Lokis.
Man, that's gonna drive me crazy.
I think that's what that episode's going to be, mostly that.
Darth Maul thinks it's Michael Burnham's mom. You could be right. It could be Michael Burnham's mom. That's what it's all about. It's all about Michael Burnham. Because she's the best.
and also, Loki is supposed to be the first one of these Disney series that's actually supposed to come back as a season 2.
Are they saying that Loki is going to be a season 2?
I keep reading spots here and there that say they've already signed papers that they're going to do season 2 of Loki.
Well, that would be nice to see, because I really think that Tom Hiddleston has knocked it out of the park with this. And, I mean, I don't know what they would do, because I can't imagine that the TVA is going to survive season 1, which is too bad, because I do like Morbius a lot. But I could not imagine that Morbius is going to be around after season 1.
Well, I'm hoping they just at least bring him back since he got pruned.
Well, the one thing, because it is timey-wimey, they could go back and get him from another variant. But Kang froze all the Avengers in time and was defeated by the Black Knight. Well, Kang has done a lot of stuff in the comic books. I'm just saying, depending on... And keep in mind that they're not... One thing that they've done very well in the MCU is not just pick and tell stories straight from the comics. Sometimes they've told stories that are inspired by stories from the comics, but like if you look at the MCU Civil War, it has very little to do with the comic book version of Civil War. So I'm not too worried about it. And Multigunman says, FYI, just so you know, it's always going to be about Michael Burnham's mom. I hate you, Multigunman. I truly, truly hate you. And that just... Wow. Somehow, I thought with all that news, it would take longer. Do you?
No.
Oh, am I missing something? I thought there was one or two other things that we had.
Let me see. We were supposed to, we covered Loki, we covered blah, 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 blah. Is there anything that we wanted to go over that we threw up?
I do want to see Morbius
wait a minute.
Jet Ski by the end, Darth Maul. I do.
Wait a minute. There was the one thing I did send you about the Galaxy Quest TV show.
Yes. And I remember I said I would piss off a couple of people with that. So Simon Pegg has been kicking around the idea of doing a Galaxy Quest TV show. Now, I have said, and I stand by, I absolutely love, with an absolute passion, the Galaxy Quest movie. And I am 100% dead set against this idea. I'm against it with all the fire of 1,000 suns, or whatever Doomcock would say. I'm against it with all the rage that I can muster in my pain-ridden, racked up, messed up, jacked up body. I do not want this project to move forward at all. I want to, if I could, I would fly directly over Simon Pegg's house and take and eat 1,000 pounds of Taco Bell and 1,000 pounds of X-Lax and suspend myself over his house.
It's not just him, though. Sigourney Weaver is working with him.
I don't care. I'm going to be over Simon Pegg's house on this.
You leave Simon alone.
Oh, I will. No, I will not leave Simon Pegg alone, because Simon Pegg is a major reason for the diarrhea-soaked script that we got for Star Trek Beyond.
Well, yes, he should just stick to playing Scotty and not write anything in it.
No, but you know what? Who do you think is going to be the head writer for the show? It's going to be freaking Simon Pegg. I don't know. Simon Pegg should not, if every time he reaches for a pencil, somebody should break his fingers. I do not want him anywhere near the idea. Galaxy Quest is supposed to be a love letter for what TOS was, not a hate letter for everything that TOS was, and a love letter for his love of liberal politics and all that crap. All right, and I don't want it. I don't want him anywhere near it. And I'm sorry. I know that. Look, I get it. People love Shaun of the Dead. I don't give a crap about Shaun of the Dead. If you love Shaun of the Dead, yeah, great. Go watch Shaun of the Dead all day long. I have a ball, but don't let him near my Star Trek. And I'm sorry, I gotta agree with Thomas. He sucked as Scotty. He was the worst part of the rebooted Star Trek, and that's saying something. All right.
You just angered Yvette, because Simon Pegg is a national treasure, according to her.
Maybe he's a national treasure for Kuroga. But I'm sorry. You know what? If Simon, look, and don't get me wrong, not everything Simon Pegg has done has been bad. And in fact, I'll agree with you on Paul. I liked him in Paul, but his Star Trek work has been abysmal. And I don't want him doing anything, because Galaxy Quest, the original Galaxy Quest, the thing that made it work so well is that the people that wrote Galaxy Quest understood not just the original series, but the people behind the original series. They understood William Shatner. That's why, Peter Nesmith, I think was the character's name. That's why his character was so great, was because they got William Shatner. And they made William Shatner incarnate in Peter Nesmith. And so I don't want Simon Pegg turning it into his version of that.
You may have hope, because it doesn't seem like Tim Allen or Tony Shalhoub is really on board with any of this.
Good.
Because they don't want to do it after Rickman passed away.
Good. Absolutely good.
And they probably won't unless it's something really damn good.
It would, and that's the problem, is that, I think that Galaxy Quest, as wonderful as it was, its time has come and gone. The time to do a Galaxy Quest series would have been immediately after the movie came out. And,
well, you know, they're just trying to capitalize because the Orville became so popular.
right. And the problem is, and that is the absolute worst reason to do it. And think about that, people. Yeah, Simon Pegg sees dollar signs, and so he wants to do it. Where was Simon Pegg, back when Galaxy Quest first came out? I mean, granted, he was a lot younger, but I don't know. How old is Simon Pegg? I don't know. But
Simon Pegg's probably up there 50s.
Yeah, so he was old enough.
So he would. That was back when he was busy with his own writings and stuff. Shaun of the Dead and all those movies.
Oh, so if he was making Shaun of the Dead, then he could have been doing. Then he should have been. If he cared that much about Star Trek, why didn't he say, "Oh, you know what? The heck with this stupid comedy horror stuff. I want to do something that's meaningful. Let's do this Star Trek parody." And so I think that if it was about the art, he would have said, "Let's do it back then." But it's about dollar signs. He sees the Orville is popular right now. We could make a buck, and that's not the reason to do it. I don't want people doing Star Trek because they can get rich doing it.
I'm going to head off a question that was asked to you, but I'm going to answer it anyway to Brian. They don't need a third V TV series. They don't need it.
Yeah, it's
they
just
screwed up
a reboot of
they
the
screwed
V.
up. They rebooted the first time they tried to do it. No.
Yeah, I mean,
another V.
I liked the original V. The remake that they did a few years back with the chick that was in Deadpool, it was an interesting try, but ultimately a failure. So I would say this, yeah. Well, how about you just do something different?
Or something original.
Right.
Stop doing reboots.
Daniel's Hot Topic says, I totally called it. I said this before, and I was going to say it on the panel yesterday on the stream, but I kept on forgetting. However, I called it. Richard E. Grant is a Loki in charge. Huh? Oh, is that who is playing the Loki in charge character? Okay.
I didn't pay too much close attention to the names.
But yeah, I mean, look, I'm not even totally against reboots. It's just that V has been rebooted, and I don't see right now. I'm more interested in, I don't see anybody in Hollywood who's capable of doing a proper V reboot. Any hope for the Alien franchise? Asked Brian. What do you think? I don't see any. I mean, the problem is there's no good writing at all right now.
Sorry, Rock Solid, I can't do the sad dinosaur for you. Wrong channel.
So, do you see any hope for the Alien franchise?
No, I don't see any hope for the Alien one. I am really nervous with all the talk that they're doing on the Stargate.
Yeah.
There's really nothing that seems like.
Well, I understand they're going to change the Stargate slightly, where the Stargate's going to be shaped just a little bit different, where it's going to be centered between two giant legs.
Okay, I'm all in.
I thought you would like that.
And Thomas, I will talk to you anytime you want to about Falling Skies. I like that show.
I remember Falling Skies. Wasn't that the one that was on like A&E or something?
TNT, I think.
Okay. But you see, here's the thing, Daniel. So you say you called it as far as Richard E. Grant being old Loki in charge, but you keep. I don't want you to tell me what you think that stuff beforehand. If you hear about this stuff ahead of time, because I don't want to know ahead of time. But yeah. Multi Gunman says, I'm totally against reboots. When you reboot something, you go from Coke to New Coke, so AKA from perfection to crap. Not necessarily, because, like, for example, you also reboot from, say, Galactica 1978 to Galactica 2004. And a lot of people would have said Galactica 1978 was perfection. They didn't know Galactica 2004 was possible. So, how do you go from perfection to perfection plus? You know? So, I think that, I don't think that reboots are always bad. I just think that you need to have a purpose to it. You need to have, it shouldn't just be, we're out of ideas. I think, if you get someone who says, you know what, I want to take this franchise in a totally different direction because I think I can do something that they're not expecting, but it's going to be good. And that works with the core premise. And that's what Ronald D. Morris did. He says, you know what? What's the core premise of this show? The humans, there's a genocidal event. Humans are struggling to survive. They want to get to this mythological lost planet. And bam, that he makes it work. But it's the rare exception that proves that it's worth doing. If you say no to all reboots, then Galactica never would have happened.
I actually got $1 super chat, and this ain't even my stream.
How'd you get $1 super chat when it's not your stream?
Because some people still have access to my Streamlabs.
Who gave you $1?
Rock Solid donated $1 to me to tell me Cup sucks, losing a pet sucks, play Sad Dino. I will play Sad Dino for you, Rock Solid, tomorrow when I do my stream.
Wow.
As soon as I see you.
You're fired, Rock Solid.
But yes, losing a pet does suck, and my condolences, Rock.
That does suck. I will not lie, that does suck.
And
sorry, I didn't get that.
Shut up, Alexa.
It isn't reachable.
I didn't even say her name. She starts talking to me.
Well, she doesn't even know the proper name of Boba Fett's ship.
Yes, she does.
No, the Boba Fett ship is named Boba Fett ship.
No, the box. You don't even know the proper name of it because on the Lego box it says Boba Fett's Starship.
Oh, sorry. Boba Fett's Starship.
But Alexa, what is the name of Boba Fett's ship? Oh, now she's going to go quiet.
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Alexa,
The Ethernet.
what is the name of Boba Fett's ship? Now she's tongue-tied. Don't want to talk. Alexa, go to sleep.
Well, Alexa's being mean tonight.
I know.
All right, so now I made everybody mad at me about...
Sorry, I didn't get that.
Oh, wow,
The
she's just
Ethernet
taking her
isn't
time. So I made,
I know,
made everybody mad at me over Simon Pegg.
Yep.
All right, so... talked about reboots. And the problem with reboots is, in general, is that, reboots and remakes, we say, like, we don't ever want them, but sometimes, like, movies that like Scarface was a remake. A lot of people don't realize that. And so, and yet people think it's a classic, a lot of movies that we take as being these great movies were in fact remakes. So, and yeah, it's Thomas. Oh, and apparently, because I'm an idiot, thank you for pointing that out, Thomas. Because I had to get back there. Hold on. Some of us are just not all, we're boomers. Sorry. Hold on. I'm trying to dance and sing and I can't do that very well.
You may want to turn your head for a moment.
Why?
Because I'm getting demands for the truffle shuffle.
For what?
Truffle shuffle.
A truffle shuffle. What's that? Oh, that was
Disturbing.
yes, disturbing. Is
I don't know what's more disturbing though. Me doing it or them asking for it.
yeah, that's a good question. The funny thing is because I was trying to get to it to get to the dashboard here because I got a donation that and the problem is I couldn't see it. Yeah, so it's from Matthew. Life with Matthew donated $1. Thank you, Life with Matthew. Says, hello, I fooled everyone into thinking I was going to do a stream today. What a bunch of dummies. Yes, for those of you that don't know, Life with Matthew promised he was going to stream today and didn't. And also, just so you all know, it is absolutely, and I don't know if you heard this, Deej, but it's 100% true. Life with Matthew confirmed that he would rather make out with Leonard Nimoy than Sonequa Martin Green.
Yes, and he would kiss Leonard Nimoy, but he wouldn't kiss Q to get his ship home safely with
Yes.
full crew.
100% true. But he would also force his wife to have sex with Q to force the crew,
Yep.
to allow the crew. Yeah.
My only question was, and he never answered it, was it young Leonard Nimoy or old Leonard Nimoy?
I don't think he cares. I think he's just got the hots for Leonard Nimoy.
It was a little scary conversation going on there with him about that, but
Yeah, I think that it is very disturbing. So speaking of disturbing, yeah, you don't want me to get up and do that. What is that called?
the truffle shuffle. It's from Goonies.
Okay, the truffle shuffle. I haven't seen Goonies yet, but which I know.
What?
I haven't seen it. I have it, but I have not seen it yet. But the truffle shuffle, you wouldn't want me to do it right now because I still have like electrodes attached to me from the surgery. Because I have a lot of hair in some of those areas, and so I've been trying to get those electrodes off. Very painful.
So basically, by the time you pull them all off, you're going to look like you have mange.
Yeah, something like that. Matthew lost what little shreds of sanity were left. I'm wondering. John, you talk to him more than any other human being other than his wife. What's wrong with that boy? And LDG is saying what? Like, I'm assuming that you not know about LD that Matthew has a thing for Leonard Nimoy. And Brian wants to know, hey, Antchecker and Deej, do you think the stories of Jules Verne's or H.G. Wells could be successful in today's media? Oh, sure.
Just don't ask for a remake of the Time Machine again, because they screwed that one up too.
But honestly, I think what they should do is try to do them more, just stick to the source material. That's the funny thing, is that they keep trying to change the story. Try to do it the way they were originally written and see how they do.
Yeah, there's a novel concept. Do it the way it was written instead of trying to change it to some point that you want to make nowadays.
Right.
And I got another $1 donation.
Not another truffle shuffle, I hope.
No, it just said just because.
Wow.
I just felt like giving me another $1 for the hell of it.
Bunch of jerks around here, I tell you. I just don't understand. I'm the only person on the internet that can live stream to get other people donations.
I've made more on this live stream than I do my own, so hey.
And Tim Chris is trying to be a jerk to me. I see how it is. What you see, we'll just. Nah, I was gonna just kick Tim for 90 seconds, but I'll be nice and not do that this time. These guys. Anyway, so
They love you though. They're here.
No, they don't. They just like to. They love to torment me. That's what it's.
Well, that's still a form of love.
If you say so. So, do you have any big plans this week?
Well, actually, I seen a movie that just came out on Netflix that I want to catch. It's a scary one, but it kind of looks interesting.
What's that?
The Seventh Day.
The Seventh Day.
It's one of those exorcism type movies.
Is this a new movie?
Yeah, and it looks really creepy.
Okay. I'm trying to think if I've seen a trailer for it. Because
I just watched one for it tonight, and it looked a little freaky.
yeah, Mrs. Antitrekker likes exorcism movies. I might have to watch that one with her. And let's see. And Richie says the biggest news to come out of this live stream, Antitrekker's not seeing the Goonies. I've said that like 8 million times on live streams before, Richie. So this is not news that I've not seen the Goonies. I actually do have the DVD for the Goonies. I just haven't gotten around to watching it. And it's no reason other than just haven't gotten around to it. Matthew will lose what's left of his sanity when you force him to watch our movie suggestions. Well, we're working on it. Matthew is definitely, his sanity is definitely slipping. That is for sure.
Well, if you want to help him along, look for a little movie called Student Bodies.
Student Bodies. Why? What's that one about?
It's one of those from the early 80s. It was one of the first ones back then that took off on the slasher type but comedy versions. So all the guys got killed by being put in hefty 3-ply bags, and the ladies were killed with things like eggplants, paper clips, erasers.
That sounds weird.
It's really dumb. I like it though because, well, I'm the odd one.
You are.
But I think it would drive Matthew nuts.
You are definitely an odd one. I will grant you that. And so we'll figure out something before next Friday. Something to make Matthew suffer a little bit more. In the meantime, well, definitely don't forget to subscribe to that weird guy over there. And between
I temporarily made my goal, and then Bird of Prey had to mess with it.
What, do you take your subscribers away?
No, he added one so I wouldn't sit on the number I wanted.
Oh, well, a jerk.
I hit 666.
What, you were trying to be a satanic bunny?
Yeah, and then he automatically subscribed with another alt of his to make it 667.
Well, there you go. I guess you just have to be a good bunny. And yeah, Battle of Endor is a good one. We'll watch that one soon.
Rock Solid said I need to watch the movie Karen.
The movie Karen? That sounds horrible. Karen. Oh man, I hate Karen. All right, so
they're just throwing all this Ewok stuff out there because
you are one. Well, you are one. Your son is the most famous Ewok. And thank you, John, for putting Deej's channel out there.
Maybe I need to invest in an Ewok outfit.
You really should. I'm surprised you haven't.
Well, others right now either want me in the Slave Leia bikini or a Pink Panther outfit.
You know what you really need to do? You need to seriously work on getting a movie quality Ewok outfit together, and then making a Slave Leia bikini that fits the Ewok outfit. That will make you rich beyond your wildest imaginations.
Either that or get sent to a loony bin.
Yeah. Lesbian Nazi hookers adopted from UFOs and forced into weight loss clinics is next. Town Talk.
UHF. That's in UHF.
Yes, I vaguely remember that. Yes. All right, guys. Wow, you guys are just weird tonight. We'll see you on the other side of. Is it a full moon? I don't know. It feels like it, but what do I know? I'm talking to a 6-foot Ewok bunny furry.